After nearly 3 months of stories, rumors, and moves, the transfer window is finally closed, and it's been a good summer for Arsenal. While it could be argued that the team are still in need of a new left winger, Andrea Berta and co. did an excellent job adding 8 talented players to Mikel Arteta's squad, including a few who have the potential to be game-changing. However, for all the good work done by the Gunners, the talk of the window and the biggest headline grabber over the last few weeks has been Alexander Isak. The former Newcastle United goal machine finally got his move to Liverpool, and while it was a record-breaking one, Arsenal can be happy in the knowledge that one of their stars remains more valuable. While he had a reasonably slow start to life in the Premier League, Isak slowly transformed into one of the very best strikers in world football by the time Liverpool came calling for him. Throughout his Newcastle career, the Swedish star managed to rack up a sensational tally of 62 goals and 11 assists in 109 appearances, totaling 7,977 minutes. In other words, the 25-year-old game-changer was able to maintain an average of a goal involvement every 1.49 games or every 109.27 minutes across a 3-season spell. With numbers like that and the fact he's such a pleasing player to watch, it's not hard to understand why the Reds think he's worthy of a £125 million price tag and of being the most expensive signing in the league's history. Yet, while his move to Anfield has made the defending champions overwhelming favorites in the minds of many fans and pundits alike, Arsenal have made several top-quality additions to Arteta's squad as well. Victor Gyökeres, for example, may have struggled on Sunday, but during his time with Sporting CP, he scored 97 goals and provided 28 assists in 102 appearances. Likewise, Martin Zubimendi hasn't necessarily hit the ground running in red and white, but he's been one of the most sought-after midfielders in European football over the last few years and will undoubtedly come good in time. Finally, Noni Madueke and Christian Mosquera looked reasonably impressive against the Reds, and from what we've seen of him for Crystal Palace over the last few years, Ebereki Eze could be the man to help unlock the Gunners' attack. In all, the North Londoners have spent around £255 million on signings this summer, and while they've not brought in anyone as valuable as Isak, Arteta already has a player worth millions more than him in the squad. While the club haven't won anything with his current squad, Arsenal are blessed with an abundance of talent. Football Fancast Market Movers series explores the changing landscape of the modern transfer market. How much is your club's star player or biggest flop worth today? The likes of William Saliba, Declan Rice, and David Raya, for example, would get into most teams around the world and have valuations to match their level of talent. Yet, when we're talking about the most valuable player in the Gunner squad, the player who is worth millions more than Isak, there's one name that stands out above all others. We are, of course, talking about the face of the club, the talisman on and off the pitch, Bukayo Saka. The Ealing-born game-changer has transformed from promising academy product to world-class superstar in front of the adoring Emirates over the last 5 years or so, and his price tag more than reflects his status in the game. According to Transfermarkt, the Gunners' legend in the making, as dubbed by talent scout Jacek Kulig, is worth a staggering €150 million, which is about £130.1 million, or £5.1 million more than Liverpool just paid for their new striker. Now, there's no denying that it is an extraordinary amount of money for a still relatively young player to be worth. But based on his performances over the last few years and his importance to the North Londoners, it's hard to argue that it's undeserved. For example, despite still being just 23 years old, and therefore 3 years away from his expected peak, according to research from The Athletic, the dynamic winger has made 265 appearances for Arsenal, in which he has scored 71 goals and provided 72 assists. Moreover, despite missing almost 4 months with a hamstring injury and having to work his way back up to full match fitness, his numbers from last season aren't too far off Isak's. In his 37 appearances for the Gunners, totaling 2,619 minutes, the Englishman scored 12 goals and provided 14 assists. That comes out to a sensational average of a goal involvement every 1.42 games or every 100.73 minutes. In contrast, the former Toon star scored 27 goals and provided 6 assists in 42 appearances, totaling 3,324 minutes. That comes out to a marginally better average of a goal involvement every 1.27 games, or every 100.72 minutes. Moreover, when you take into account that the Swede was playing down the middle and expected to be his side's primary goal threat, it's even more impressive that, in an injury-riddled campaign, the Hale end icon put up comparable numbers. Ultimately, Isak is an extraordinary player and looks set to make Arsenal's hunt for a Premier League title far tougher this season. However, in Saka, they have someone more valuable, and so long as he gets fit and remains so, someone who could be the difference come May.